Just before dawn, Caledonia climbed into the aft rigging of her ship. The ropes were rough against her calloused palms as she scaled 50 feet of the mizzenmast, confident and sure, her hands and feet flying faster and faster, daring the sun to beat her to the top. The sky filled with the hazy blue glow of dawn, and Caledonia pushed harder, relishing the first kiss of sweat against her skin. She'd scarcely reached her chosen perch when she yelled to the team of girls on deck below. "Haul!" Eager voices repeated the command, and 4 sets of strong hands took hold of the lines and heaved. Along the mast, pulleys squealed and churned. Caledonia kept her eyes on the gaff beam moving toward her. "Break!" she shouted as the gaff rose level with her chest. From it hung their treasured sunsail, hundreds of shiny black scales made to absorb solar energy and feed their engines. The girls below began to secure the ropes while Caledonia moved to balance atop the beam. The morning wind that was so gentle on deck was bracing this far up, and a constant tension whirled in her stomach. Leaving one hand to grip the ropes, she stretched to retrieve the peak anchor and pull it down, snapping the cable in place. The horizon was burning yellow now, and the approach of the sun brought a smile to Caledonia's lips. Below, she could see Amina perched on the starboard railing, tracking her with shrewd eyes. It wasn't necessary for the captain to secure the sail. Any one of Amina's knots could do this just as easily as Caledonia. But this moment was unlike any other aboard the Moors Navis, and Caledonia craved the feeling of the world at her feet. "Trim to port!" she called. The sail angled toward sunrise just as the first gentle rays slid across the surface of the ocean. Light climbed the hull to paint the girls in their boldest strokes for just a second before it reached the black plates of the sunsail. It was like fire. Light leaped from 100 scales at once in vibrant yellows, oranges, and pinks. A cascade of momentary brilliance washed upward as the sun climbed higher in the sky. And at the top of it all stood Caledonia. Wind tugged at her sleeves and her hair, light washed over her from boot to brow, and she felt as alive as the ship beneath her feet, charged and powerful. It lasted for only a moment, then that dazzling morning fire was gone. Sunlight glittered calmly in the sail, creating fuel to power all the systems of the ship, once known as the Ghost. Repaired and renamed Moors Navis, the large vessel was sharp and elegant, all of it skinned with dark gray steel, except for a few patches of wood and tar. Everything on the ship was a mixture of old-world tech and whatever natural resources they could find. And they made it work. The Moors Navis now carried a crew of 53 girls, 6 cats, and 1 goat. They'd made this ship both a weapon and a home. 4 years ago, this had been a fantasy. Trapped on a beach with nothing but a gut wound, her best friend, and this very ship in pieces, Caledonia could only dream of the day she had the means to stand up and fight. It had come sooner than she could have hoped. The morning Pisces looked at her square in the eyes and said she wanted revenge. It came one girl at a time. Caledonia and Pisces had stitched this ship and its crew together from odds and ends discarded by the world. As Caledonia began her downward climb, she heard the bow boat drop from its hanging berth and hit the water. She saw it a moment later, pushing past the ship with 5 girls aboard and Redtooth at the helm, the red tips of her blonde braids visible against the bright blue morning. That team would scout a few miles ahead of the Moors Navis, looking for trouble and opportunity. Caledonia paused, watching as Redtooth raised her hand in salute to another dark shape in the water before speeding away. Pisces. Some days it seemed the girl had been in the water since the attack on the Ghost. She'd risen before the sun that first terrible day on the beach and walked straight into the ocean to drown her tears. When she came up for air, her sobs left jagged stitches in the hushed morning. Unable to move much on her own, Caledonia had no choice but to be still as her friend's grief washed over her. That grief was like a fever, one Caledonia could feel burning in her own blood. As Pisces sought solace in the ocean, Caledonia hoisted her eyes to the sky and let her own tears drain into the hard sand.